of the nation within the House, having a conversation that was to bring peace, putting aside our political affiliations. And of course, we condemned, as leaders in the House, we condemned so much about these abductions, and we did that, you know, that actually happened, and asked the state to ensure that the families that have been affected, you know, their loved ones should be reunited with them. All that discussion happened from a neutral point of view because it affected all of us. Remember when the Gen Z occupied Parliament, it affected all of us. It was not about Ruto is on this side, Mutinda is on this side. It was, you know, for us as Kenyans. So when we got back, we had that discussion. Now, narrowing it to what my brother said, like the earlier discussion that has been there about the names that the activists have said, there are names that are still missing. Their loved ones are still missing. Let me say this. You see, as I've always said, the president is always provided with reports. He's still a Kenyan. He wouldn't know who is missing, who's not missing. And it is not wrong for them to have come out and expressed that still these people have not been reunited with their loved ones. There's nothing wrong with that. And it's until that point that we also get to know that there are people who have also not been reunited with their loved one, which of course brings questions. Where are they? You know, something needs to be done for them also to be reunited with their families, because the president is normally given the reports from where he sits. He will not be the one going to, you know, look at where this happened and all. He's definitely provided with the report. From the report that he has been provided, of course, the information will indicate that all the people who had been reported. Remember, for that to happen, the report has to be placed, of course, in the police and all that, investigations and everything. And if the report that he has is that all the people who had been abducted and all that have been reunited, we lost some because some died, some have already been buried, a sad situation. But just to summarize is that there's nothing wrong for the people who have not been reunited for them to also get an opportunity to get an explanation. So what is important is now that next step of who are these people, where are they, can they be reunited? That information also needs to come out. The president boldly, from the question of the journalist, from the newspaper, he says he acknowledged state-sponsored killings, as the paper said, if that is what he responded. This is leadership. The president, he's not the kind of who's like, I didn't do this. If there's a problem, he's acknowledging that this happened. And that's why he says it will not happen again. Because we also, even when the documentary was aired by BBC, we also, not William Ruto was there holding guns and everything. It is the security forces that are state that were there. He did not authorize anybody to
if we may forget William Ruto for a moment.
No, you see, the problem
Let's not make it about the president. He made a statement. I'm talking about the killings.
As much as he made a statement, there's something that we don't want to acknowledge. And that's why we mess this country up. We politicize everything completely. The president was not in Parliament at that particular point. But as the head of state, he has communicated about the people who have been reunited with their loved ones. What does that mean? That means, one, in Ndimuli, that there has been a process whereby this data was being collected. For him to be given that report, for him to communicate and say, these are the people who have been reunited. There has been a process. There has been verification and confirmations and things like that.
That process is what I'm looking for.
That has taken place. Because
Senator, you say it is discussed even in Parliament.
Just hold on. We discussed
any discussion
in
Parliament, any substantive discussion in Parliament, even a motion, produces a report at the end.
Correct.
Is there any such document that you can talk about?
There's no report in regards to the specific people who were abducted. The report that is there that I've said we discussed was putting the nation at a neutral point because there's a lot of agitation, a lot of anger, a lot of fear and all that. But my point is, for the president to communicate that the people who had been abducted have been reunited with their loved one, that means he has been given a report that says so-and-so has been reunited because these are the people who had been reported. So there has been a process that took place. And further down the line, the president says, in that regard, this shall not happen again.
There's a report that is out, and it's a UN human rights report on Kenya. It was already presented at the Council in Geneva. earlier this month. By 9th of May, it had been presented there. Don't you think that that is the kind of approach that even our Houses of Parliament should have taken on this matter? That investigation, scrutiny, inquiry is done, and a report is produced at the end, giving recommendations and the way forward?
Well, other than the normal motions that goes in the flow of the House at specific or a given matter that has been invited for that particular discussion, the best discussion that can bring conclusion is what is carried with evidence. And most of these sensitive evidence would require